Meeting's called to order being 1:30 p.m. The acknowledgement statement. The City of Lethbridge has acknowledged that we are gathered in the lands of the Blackfoot people of the Canadian Plains and pays respect to the Blackfoot people past, present, and future while recognizing and respecting their cultural heritage, beliefs, and relationship to the land. The City of Lethbridge also offers respect to the Métis and all who lived on this land and made Lethbridge their home. I am your impromptu chair while we do the election of the chair and vice chair. I knew it was happening. I'm going to call now for nominations for the position of chair. Do we have any nominations for the position of chair? Councillor Schmidt-Rempel.
Thank you very much. I would like to nominate Councillor Crowson.
Councillor Crowson, you have been nominated for the position of chair. Do you accept?
I accept.
Are there any other nominations from the floor for the position of chair? Seeing none, we're going to close nominations for the position of chair. Okay. Continue on with the vice chair. Congratulations, Councillor Crowson. By acclamation, you are the chair. We're going to move on to nominations for the position of vice chair. Any from the floor?
That one you guys didn't think through, did you?
Councillor Schmidt-Rempel.
If there is no one interested in nominating anybody else, I will nominate myself.
Self-nomination for the position of vice chair. Any other nominations? Okay, online. We are moving to cease nominations for the position of vice chair. Councillor Schmidt-Rempel, congratulations. By acclamation, you are the vice chair. I will now turn it over to Chair Crowson.
That. So we just have to now go to, we didn't do a roll call, did we?
No.
Okay. Okay. We will then go to roll call, Mr. Westerson, if you want to make sure before we did that, that we actually had quorum to do that.
I counted, yes. Councillor Doria.
Present.
Councillor Parker.
Present.
Thank you. Acting Mayor Crowson.
Present.
And Deputy Mayor Schmidt-Rempel.
Here.
And I see we also have Councillor Bieber online has joined us as well. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. We now move to the adoption of the agenda, which was sent out a week ago. I have a motion from Councillor Parker. Be it resolved that the November 27th, 2025 agenda of the Governance Standing Policy Committee be adopted as presented. Councillor Parker, the motion is yours.
Is there any additions or deletions, Madam Chair?
Nope, none have been brought forward.
Then I call the question.
Question's been called. All in favor? Perfect. I think we'll be going by hands today instead of, it's just so much easier. Moving on to the consent agenda. I have a consent agenda motion brought forward by Deputy Mayor Schmidt-Rempel. Be it resolved that the Governance Standing Policy Committee, 1, approve the minutes of the Governance Standing Policy Committee meeting held on September 10th, 2025, and authorize the chair and city clerk designate to sign the same, and 2, receive for information the status of directed resolutions for November 27th, 2025. Deputy Mayor Schmidt-Rempel.
Thank you very much, Chair. I do have one question through you to the city manager designate. I see that on the status of directed resolutions, governance had coming back to it under the date directed to return, November 27th, 2025, council policy naming policy, as well as November 27th, 2025, Nikki Yuko renaming and visitor center and pavilion tea house. I see those are on that. Can you help me understand where those might be at, and because they were slated to come back today?
I'll jump in. I can answer that question. Council will receive a bit of an update at their December 2nd council meeting next week, where the administration will ask just for a little bit more lead time for a quick deferral on that one, likely first meeting in February of the Governance SBC 2026.
Okay, Thank you very much.
Because that meeting in February is the next meeting of governance, right? There is no,
The February governance meeting is the next one.
okay.
That was all the questions. If there are no other questions or comments from my colleagues, I would call for the vote.
Question has been called. All in favor? And consent agenda is approved by, it's approved. Wow, brain gone. We have no presentations today. We move into submissions. We have two of our policies in front of us. First is CC23, Parkland and Roadway Special Event, which the hope is to make Parkland and Roadway Special Event and filming. Now, who is here to speak towards it? Is that you, Ms. Bracken? Is there anything we should know about it? I know it's pretty clear. We have the redlined version. Is there anything in here that you want us to pay careful attention to? Because essentially what it is taking this policy and ensuring that film is included so that if anybody's coming to us, policies are in place and then your department will do the work that's necessary. So we are ready if somebody wants to come to town. Is that essentially what we have here?
Croson, yes, essentially what you're seeing is just some updates to some of the established content within the existing policy, and then the addition of a new definition and process for receiving film applications. I do have other representatives from other departments with me today as well to answer questions, as this particular policy is, it involves several different departments, recreation and culture being one, parks and cemeteries. And we also have representatives from, or a representative from Economic Development Lethbridge here to answer any questions. The impetus for the changes and the additions to to add the film language was really coming out of when EDL came to council in 2022 to ask council how they wanted to be involved in the growing film industry. So this is one of the changes that we've made in response to council's direction coming from that request.
Perfect. Thank you for the overview. So we all are on the same page or same slide if it's film before we move forward. As this is a standing policy committee, we will now look to the members of the public. Is there anyone who wishes to speak on this matter, either asking questions or making a comment? Any members of the public? And yes, we're all staring at you, Mr. Scredden, because everybody else is city employees. So it doesn't look like it. If you want to, you can. If not, that's fine as well. We won't actually, focus you out. Oh, please come on up. Welcome, and just officially give your name, and then you have up to 5 minutes to speak.
So my name is Brock Screding. I'm the Director of Creative Industries with Economic Development Lethbridge. Obviously, just to give an update, we've been working with Ishmael and with administration. Administration has been working really hard on making the city film friendly, and I think this policy will do that. I think that just having all the different departments aware of film procedures and making sure that that things move through the system quickly. We had one kind of test run earlier this year with the Dairy Farmers of Canada came and shot a short commercial, so that was very well contained, very small shoot, but the process was really fast, and administration just really moved that and made it happen. And so we've been working together on the brand, the Screen Lethbridge brand, and just want to continue expanding that so that Lethbridge gets its fair share of business and participates in the overall ecosystem of the creative industries. A couple other updates along with that. There's a creative industries feasibility study, so that's been supported by the province and will be coming in Q2 for 2026. So that'll give you qualitative and quantitative data on the existing businesses, the existing ecosystem, and then also the national and international context on which Lethbridge is participating in this industry. So that'll be really good data to make future plans with. And yeah, I just obviously support this and think the team has been doing a really great job.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Now, Ms. Bracken, this, of course, is also Parkland and Roadways, any special events. So when I was reading through this, I know the focus now is to update it for films, but it also made me think of some concerns that were expressed last week. We had 6th Street closed off for the tree lighting on Festival Square. And so the policy here is high level, it's for council. But when you go into procedures at administrative level, how do you determine the timing of when to shut down a road? Do you have conversations with surrounding businesses? How is that done so that we are able to do the event as needed, but we're also in no way, or as much as possible, not affecting businesses? So I'm not sure if it's you or one of the other departments, but how is that done and is that considered?
I will defer that question, Councillor Croson, to my colleague Travis Grindle, who works more directly with the special event permitting process.
Welcome, Mr. Grindle. Of course, that event, 1,500 people, the event went off beautifully, but there were concerns about the timing of when that road was shut and how it affected businesses. So anything you can tell us about how those determinations are made?
Yeah, and thank you for the question. And unfortunately, I'm probably going to kind of pass the buck on this one in particular. Downtown BRZ handles that event. They would coordinate it in advance, months in advance with our office, but the responsibility of communicating the road shutdown in the downtown core for sure would fall to them.
Okay, so it would have been their responsibility to
sure,
talk to their
yeah.
own businesses?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I sort of assumed, but when people are going to complain, they always complain about the city and nobody else, so.
For sure, yeah. And I mean, I've been privy to some conversations recently just about what that partnership looks like. A lot of people confuse still the work of the downtown BRZ and the city. So we kind of get thrown into that.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you
Thanks.
very much. All right, we have questions coming up from committee. Councillor Schmidt-Rempel, you are in the queue, so please go ahead.
And thank you very much, and thank you very much, Ms. Brackett, and to you and your team for all the work on this. Not so much questions as maybe just some clarification around language, and probably just the nitpicky editor in me looking to see if maybe there needs to be a couple spelling corrections. Under the purpose, we've got the purpose of the policy is to recognize the importance of outdoor parkland and roadway special events and film to quality of life. But we have made that the title, like it doesn't match the title of what the council policy is. So are we referring to the council policy there, or are we referring not to a title at that point?
Through the chair to Councillor Schmidt-Rempel, sorry, can you just help me find
So
where?
it's in that first paragraph.
Yep.
1, 2, 3 lines down, the sentence starting the purpose. The line right below that refers, I believe, to the title of the policy, but the title of the policy is "and filming," but we just have "and film." So it's a nitpicky editorial thing, but I think it's important to make sure that if we're referring to the policy, we need to be using the full name of the policy.
Yeah, it's a fair observation, and I think that's an edit we could easily make. I think the thought there was that the filming would take place in some of the designated spaces, but it's absolutely a change that we could make.
Yeah, it's just making sure we're consistent throughout with what the title is. At the end of that page, the bottom of page 1 of 3, in the policy statement, we talk about, and it's that last line, through support of community groups and organization in the implementation of special events. Should we not also include in there "and to support filming"? Because we are now including film and filming in this policy, but that policy statement just refers to special events.
Yeah, another good observation. We could even just tweak that to say in the implementation of this policy. But I guess that would be a little circular. Because I think as a lot of this is from the original, like we didn't touch that with these edits. So it didn't mention roadway either or in that particular section. But yeah, we can.
And it's just because we are reworking it to include the filming, making sure that it is so that it doesn't get missed. Other than that, thank you very much for this. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you for the feedback.
Thank you. Just one thing I also want to mention. On City Council, you took out a provision of funding, and I just wanted to say for the public to understand, that's because Council does set the overall budget, but for some reason when this was written, Council was very operational, setting very specific budgeting. It's not that Council has given up the right of the budget, it's just that this is much lower than the overall budget, so I don't want anybody thinking we've given up our budgeting rights in that one there. All right, I don't see any other questions, so I am going to move to the motion at this point. And if there are any concerns with what is brought forward, and this motion is brought forward by Councillor Doria, be it resolved that the Governance Standing Policy Committee recommend that City Council approve the amended policy CC 23, Parkland and Roadway Special Event and Filming, as provided in attachment 2. And yeah, sometimes we have film and sometimes we have filming. Just if we can make sure that whatever way you're going, it's the same everywhere when we see it at council. Because sometimes it's an ing and sometimes it is not. But Councillor Doria, that is your motion. If you would like to speak to it or just call the question, it's whatever you choose.
I think this is well put, and I really understand the term that they put in the definition that filming is added to this council policy. So I really recommend that this will be recommended to the council to be adopted. So if I can throw the question if there's
Okay, before we call the question though, I do have Deputy Mayor Schmidt-Rempel to speak. Go ahead, Deputy Mayor.
Oh, thank you very much to everybody that was involved in this. I really appreciate seeing this. As somebody who helped and was a strong supporter on this and helped kickstart the Creative Industries Initiative here in Lethbridge, recognizing the component of economic development that this carries. Certainly, it's great to see this coming forward and making filming and the film industry easier in Lethbridge. So thank you very much for your work on this.
Yes, hopefully we get an overwhelming number of people who want to do films in Lethbridge. Ignoring the wind, it is a pure perfect place to film, unless you want the wind. But Councillor Doria has called the question. All in favor? Any opposed? And that passes unanimously. Now I'm going to just pause for two things. One, welcome Mayor Higgin. I see you have joined into the meeting. And two, Mr. Westerson wants to correct a statement he made earlier. So go ahead, Mr. Westerson.
Yeah, my apologies, I was reading the wrong notes. When the question came up earlier about the status director resolutions regarding item 3 and 4 on there, that being the council policy naming policy and the renaming a visitor center, that's correct, Councillor? I misidentified that as February. It's actually coming to the Assets and Infrastructure SBC meeting next Thursday. That's December 4th, which that'll agenda actually be published later today. I apologize about that.
So it simply switched SPCs.
It's switched to SPCs just to alignment with the mandate that's been provided to the Assets and Infrastructure.
Okay. Moving now to our next agenda item, we have CC 33, Historic Places. I see Mr. Kilgore is here. Mr. Kilgore, would you like to give us an overarching view of this before we discuss it? Okay, guys, this is history. Why are you all running away? Go ahead, Mr. Kilgore.
Thank you, Chair. And yes, this submission is in line with Council's direction of January 21st of this year to transition Historic Places Advisory Committee from a standing committee of council to an administrative committee. So there were two parts to that. With it becoming an administrative committee, we created a new terms of reference under the new format and had that approved by ELT a couple of weeks ago. And so this is the other part, which is the council policy. And so it is essentially just been updated a little bit, but there's no kind of major changes compared to the old version that's been in place for a number of years.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kilgore. Is there any members of the public who wish to speak on the updated policy CC 33? Not seeing anyone, we will move into questions. And Mr. Kilgore, you may as well come back because I do have one question. I appreciate that this is being done, as you said, for the committee to move. And I realize that this is very much the old 2007 policy. But when I read this policy, I am struck by how passive it is, in that if you have a building, come to us. But there's nothing in here for anyone to go out and actively recruit buildings. Did we give any consideration to writing this in a more active way going, we know, I mean, we've got the inventory, we know the buildings. Is that the responsibility of the committee? Is it just not laid out in the policy? But do we do any active recruiting for owners of historic buildings to bring them forward?
Thank you for the question. Yes, so the goals of the Heritage Programme are contained in the Heritage Management Plan, which was approved by Council back in 2023. So that gets into a lot more detail in terms of the what we're aiming to do. One of those things is about reaching out to places, to owners of historic places, encouraging them to apply for designation. So that is something we do, yes, either if the committee members suggest a place, if someone reaches out, or in some cases if we hear about a building that might be at risk, we try and reach out to the owners there. But certainly the policy of the City of Lethbridge is that we don't designate against an owner's wishes, even though the provincial legislation does allow us to do so. We always look for people to apply for designation and to sign a compensation waiver agreement and so on before we consider designation.
Okay, so we do actually go out and recruit, because as you and I both know, many people don't know the history of their building and would not know it unless it was brought forward. So thank you for that. I do see a question from Deputy Mayor Schmidt-Rempel. Please go ahead.
Thank you very much, Chair, and thank you very much, Mr. Kilgore, for bringing this forward. I see that by this policy, we're moving it to an administrative policy. Can you help me understand what that means, and how will membership be decided on this committee?
Thank you for the question. So the main change would be that the committee would report to administration rather than direct to council. In practice, that's not necessarily a huge change, because the way it's worked for the last several years is that the committee will meet roughly every month. I would be at every meeting, even though I'm not a member of the committee, and I would bring their agenda items to them and look for their guidance and their decisions. In future, it would be more that they weren't necessarily making decisions, but advising me as administration on what they think the correct course of action would be, such as whether a place is worthy of designation as a municipal historic resource, or whether a intervention approval should be granted for works to a designated historic resource. So things like that would be advised to administration rather than direct to council. In terms of recruitment, the positions have stayed essentially the same, and the terms of each member have stayed the same. The difference now, I believe, is that we wouldn't go through the annual recruitment process through City Clerk's office. It might be a little bit more flexible in terms of how quickly we can bring on new members if someone leaves the committee.
And do you know what that process looks like at this time?
We do have that written down in one of the processes from City Clerk's office, so I would refer to City Clerk or designate to answer the details on that.
For administrative committees, we're here to support each of the individual departments that are looking to recruit their members. So we try to support the department in what they're looking for at the time. So it may be something that mimics the annual recruitment program, where we would go out and advertise with them. It could be alongside the annual recruitment or at other times. And then in our office, we also retain a repository of the information on each of the membership, as well as the official governing documents. So the terms of reference that would be established administratively internally.
Okay, so just to clarify, though, it will be a clear and transparent process to our residents to understand how recruitment to the new committee will be done. I just want to ensure that we're being transparent in how we're recruiting.
That's my understanding, yes.
Okay, I will step out for now. I do have one other question, but
I'll just make a comment to your question as well. Knowing the field, there's only so many people that Mr. Kilgore can actively probably look to in some of the areas. There's only so many historians, so many architects, so many persons with Indigenous history. So the recruitment for some of the key categories are quite small. So recruiting them will be detailed. Reaching out to certain organizations will also help. Yeah. But go ahead with your next question, because there is no one else in the queue.
all right, and then just finally, knowing that, yes, we've moved this over to a committee of administration, do you have the time and resources to support this? Is there going to be a financial ask coming forward in the future now that this has moved from a committee of council to a committee of administration?
Thanks for the question. So the budget for Historic Places Advisory Committee is $5,000 per year. That, I believe, now will be coming from Planning and Design's operating budget. So there's no immediate financial impact in terms of looking for an increase in that budget. And in terms of staff time, there's really no change there. The only real change in my role would be that the new system requires administration to fill the roles of chair and vice chair on the committee. So I would be the chair, but that's really just kind of a technical change. I would be at every meeting anyway.
Okay. Thank you very much.
I don't see any other questions, so Mr. Kilgore, thank you. You can have a seat, and we'll move to the motion, which is being brought forward by myself. Be it resolved that the Governance Standing Policy Committee recommends that City Council approve the amended policy CC 33, Historic Places, as provided in Attachment 2. And yes, thank you, Mr. Kilgore, and your department and everyone who has worked on this. This policy is not updated very often because there have been few changes in it. This is probably one of the largest for a while, moving the committee from a council committee to an administrative committee with essentially the same function. It is still providing advice and advocacy, but doing it through the administrative channels instead of council. I hope my colleagues will support this, and not seeing anyone else in the queue, I will call the question. All in favor? Any opposed? That passes unanimously as well. All right. And this is how you can tell we are early in a council term. We are adjourned in less than half an hour. Thank you all.